Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on TuneIn. We're on the 99.7 WTN app. You can listen to us on the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. We are on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, all the things. Hit like and subscribe. We just crossed over 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody that has found us on YouTube and hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate you guys. It really does help the entire station to create that digital footprint and make it larger. So we appreciate you finding us online and subscribing on our YouTube channel as well. If you want to watch the entire show there live, you're more than welcome to. Why would you want to watch a radio show on your TV? Well, we're going to have video for all of the audio that you hear on your radio every time we do a broadcast on YouTube. It's just an added bonus, and it adds another layer to what you're getting with the news. So we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know about you, but the past few days for me has been one giant concealed carry advertisement. And if you don't have a firearm, if you've never trained, you know I recommend the Glock store. And that's not just a plug, but it's like, seriously, if you don't have it, please do it. What we've seen over the past couple of days, I think, is just awful. It's tragic. And in many cases, could have been avoided had you had a firearm. In Michigan, the mass stabbing in Traverse City was ended by a good guy with a gun. Derek Perry. Unbelievable. Former Marine. Well, once a Marine, always a Marine, I've heard. Marine stops a guy with a gun, stabbing people, 11 people. 80 years old, 80-plus years old, several of them injured. And it was just a regular pocket knife. And a lunatic, an absolute lunatic, stopped by a good guy with a gun. We see yesterday, New York City, an absolute lunatic, possibly white, according to CNN. Possibly. We're still trying to gather all the details on that. But we see a lunatic walk into this office building with a firearm. You don't think if somebody was there with their own firearm that they would have had a better chance of fending him off? I think you can make that case. Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, we see a mob of individuals attacking two white people because they're white. You think things would have been a little bit different if one of them had a concealed carry? I think so. I'm telling you, if you don't have a firearm, your safety is your responsibility. Get a firearm. Do it. If you're nervous about it, find a place where you're comfortable and train. I recommend the Glock store. Those guys are great. But wherever it is, find somewhere where you're comfortable. Get yourself a firearm. Seriously. In those critical moments, in that window, you're the first responder. You hear Brink Fiddler, Defense System, say it all the time. It's true. You are. Now, the police showed up fast in New York City. I mean, it was an active shooter reported 345 Park Ave near East 52nd Street. Described as Middle Eastern, wearing a bulletproof vest. That didn't end up panning out. Fired on police from the 32nd floor, at least 2 injured, including an NYPD officer. We now know it's 4 dead. 4 civilians dead, 1 NYPD officer dead. Prayers for the families. Unbelievable tragedy. NYPD gets the bomb squad on site. They issue a level 3 mobilization. FBI agents are on the ground in support. It was an unbelievable response, but it still takes time to get that response. And you need to be able to be there ready to go just in case. Now, it could have been a lot worse. There's reports that this guy took the wrong elevator. He was targeting the NFL headquarters, but took the wrong elevator. 4 people, including an off-duty New York City police officer, were killed. Police said Tamura had a history of mental illness, and a rambling note found on his body suggested he had a grievance against the NFL for an unsubstantiated claim that he had suffered chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. I think I butchered that last one, but whatever, CTE. He had played football in high school in California nearly 2 decades ago. The note claimed he had been suffering from CTE, the degenerative brain disease that has been linked to concussions and other repeated head trauma common in contact sports like football, and said his brain should be studied after he died. A person familiar with the matter told the Associated Press. It also specifically referenced the NFL. lunatic, an absolute lunatic. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be armed. I know New York City has its own issues with, the Constitution and the Second Amendment, but in Cincinnati, you don't have that kind of an issue. In Traverse City, Michigan, you don't have that kind of an issue. In Tennessee, you don't have that kind of an issue. So we learn all this relatively quickly. I mean, the photos were going around super fast. I mean, it develops so fast online, as it always does, which sometimes you have to be cautious about that, right? It almost develops too fast, where you start getting things wrong. But regardless, pictures going around online. Everybody sees the picture of the shooter. Everybody. CNN has the picture of the shooter. CNN, worldwide leader in news, CNN. They have the picture of the shooter, right? They put it on the screen, and they describe it like this. Oh, you want to give me some audio real quick, Louis? Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Given time.
All right. So, Brian, stay with us. The former deputy director of the FBI, Andy McCabe, is with us as well. And Andy, I just want to ask you, you talk about a 44-story building, as Brian is reporting. And what John Miller just said, there were a few things that really stood out there. Among them that they do know what he looks like. Sunglasses, mustache, male, possibly white.
Oh. Now, I don't know. I don't know about you. I'm not a photo expert, but I do have eyes. And the picture that was going around that shows how CNN describes it as mostly white doesn't exactly pass the sniff test. So you have to ask yourself, does CNN want the shooter to be white for narrative reasons? And you find yourself going, probably. But this is the shooter. Shane Tamura. This is the shooter as a high school football player. If you're watching on the stream, you'll see a little video of him as he was doing his high school football thing. Possibly white. Louis, my friend. Possibly white. Possibly white.
Possibly.
We don't know. Listen, we're not going to pretend to be 23andMe and know everything about somebody's DNA. But possibly white. Possibly. Now, the police on the scene said that he has a documented history of severe mental illness prior to this deadly shooting. Again, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch found a podium. She was given a breakdown on what we saw there inside New York City. And, I mean, it just sounds like this guy is exactly that, an absolute lunatic.
Believed to be Shane.
Oh, hang on one second. I got too much audio going on at one time. Hate it when that happens. My fault. Apologies. Boom. All right. So this is the NYPD commissioner.
Believed to be Shane Tamura, a 27-year-old male with a Las Vegas address. The vehicle he exited is registered in Nevada to Mr. Tamura. Inside of that vehicle, officers found a rifle case with rounds, a loaded revolver, ammunition, and magazines, a backpack, and medication prescribed to Mr. Tamura. The vehicle was searched by our bomb squad and found to be clear of any explosives. The initial investigation shows that Mr. Tamura's vehicle traveled cross-country through Colorado on July 26th, then Nebraska and Iowa on July 27th, and then in Columbia, New Jersey, as recently as 4:24 p.m. today. The vehicle entered New York City shortly thereafter. According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamura has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location.
So we do have developed a bit more understanding of why he targeted that particular location. A lot of people pointing to the NFL headquarters. But they found prescription medication in the car, SSRIs. They can't tell us what kind of medication it was. But the partners in Las Vegas said that there was a lofty mental health history of this individual. So the NYPD commissioner alluded to the fact that he did have psychiatric meds. But this story is super weird. He has a known mental health disorder. He drove a black BMW registered in Las Vegas across the country, walked into the building, shot the security guard and one other, shot somebody else on the way to the lobby, let a female civilian past him in the elevator, went to the 33rd floor, shot someone else, then shot himself. Lunatic. An absolute lunatic. How do you cover yourself when it comes to these lunatics? Again, I know New York City has their own firearm laws and anti-Second Amendment ideology, but the only way that you can protect yourself in these scenarios is with a firearm. Get yourself a firearm, please, by all means. Don't find yourself being a victim in these situations. You can't have that. Now, in the aftermath of this, a lot of people are going, hey, remember that Democrat socialist that is running for mayor? He's the guy that wanted to defund the police, and a lot of old tweets are resurfacing. Zohran Mamdani, again, the Democrat candidate for mayor of New York City, he took to Twitter last night, and he said, I'm heartbroken to learn of the horrific shooting in Midtown, and I'm holding the victims, their families, and the NYPD officer in critical condition in my thoughts. Grateful for all of our first responders on the ground. Decent enough statement. I'm not knocking that statement. But it completely contradicts past statements from this Democrat mayoral candidate. We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need to do is defund the NYPD. But your deal with NYC mayor uses budget tricks to keep as many cops as possible on the beat. No to fake cuts. Defund the police. That's who Democrats want to elect as the mayor of New York City. I hope in the aftermath of this, they realize that they were completely misguided and take a second look at somebody reasonable. And it's wild that in this scenario, Andrew Cuomo, the guy who had all those old people killed in the nursing homes via COVID, is the reasonable candidate. Speaking of unreasonable, CNN, in the immediate aftermath of this shooting in New York City, well, they wanted to talk about gun control.
And I find it to be absolute insanity that we allow weapons of war to just flow freely on the streets of America. And even though New York State and New York City have the strictest gun laws in the nation, those gun laws can only take you so far if guns can easily cross state boundaries. And
so nationwide ban? Nationwide ban.
this is exactly what happened here.
And in New York, is your understanding that it would have been easy for him to obtain this AR-15 weapon if he purchased it here?
I think it would have been easier for him to obtain it in Nevada. I mean, we have much stricter gun laws here in New York.
Yeah.
But again, what we desperately need is a national ban on military-style weapons, because we have far too many guns in America, far too few regulations of those guns.
You know, what you're really seeing is just a masterful pivot. CNN goes from the shooter's possibly white. Oh, yeah, let's lean in. Racist, KKK, Nazi. Oh, everybody loves a good Nazi story. And then when they realize that that's not going to work out, well, then they immediately need to pivot to an old comfortable narrative, gun control. And that was Rep. Richie Torres, congressman out of New York, calling for a nationwide gun ban. Hey, how about no? How about no? What we saw in Michigan was the good guy with the gun stopping the lunatic. And I do believe if we had more good guys with guns in New York City, we would have seen this lunatic stopped a bit sooner as well. And I also believe that if we had more good guys with guns in Cincinnati, you wouldn't have seen what happened on Saturday night go down that way. You wouldn't have. Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, that police chief, well, she's figured out exactly what's going on. And it's you sharing the video on social media that's causing this to turn out to be such a big story in Cincinnati. I'll bring you these brain-dead comments from the DEI hire of a police chief when we return. This is 921 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. I talk about these guys all the time because they're awesome. They're patriots. They advertise here so you know they're fearless, but they can also really clean up your water. And if you're tired of the weird smells, stains, or just plain old bad tasting water at your house or office, Better Water LLC can fix it for you. And there could be some really nefarious reasons why your water's tasting bad and smelling bad. It could be sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. Now, Better Water will test your water for free. And if you have any of that nasty stuff in your drinking water, in your bathing water, well, they can fix it for you with a number of options. Reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, Better Water has you covered. These guys are local, based out of Smyrna. They already treat all the water at your local coffee shops and hospitals, so you've probably already tasted their work. If you want to get the junk out of your tap, you need to call Better Water LLC. 615-355-6063. They'll test your water for free to find out if you got the nasty stuff in it. 615-355-6063. Online, betterwater.com.
Coming up, State Rep Justin Jones kicked out of another press event. And the windows were blacked out of this business. The clientele were sketchy. what police say they found inside. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Can you be kicked out of an event that you were never invited to in the first place?
Well, that
is a
is the
question I have.
Yes.
Joan Jones on the way with the headlines. My name's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So we're seeing just chaos all over the country. You know, Michigan, we had a mass stabbing. You know, Rep. Richie Torres in New York wants to call for a nationwide gun ban after what happened in New York City. It's like, oh, so then we could have things happen like they did in Michigan, I guess, you know, hey, what can you do? So you see Michigan, you see New York City, Cincinnati. Just chaos. Oh, in Reno, Nevada, not to be forgotten, there was also a shooting yesterday in Reno, Nevada. But in Cincinnati, this case just gets crazier and crazier. So you had a mob of black festival attendees targeting two white attendees. If the races had been reversed, this would be on every single news station nonstop. Cincinnati's police chief, who many are claiming to be a DEI hire, her name is Teresa Thiek. She's pretty upset. She's become angered, they're reporting, because reporters and social media users posted about the brawl that took place in the city over the weekend, which ended with a woman being sucker punched and knocked out cold. The incident obviously has drawn national attention, though. If you watch mainstream media, you won't see it. But the conversation's really focused on it online. The brawl broke out Friday evening. 5 people have been charged in the incident so far. However, the police chief is now trying to downplay the incident. This is the Cincinnati police chief, Teresa Thiek.
Called 911. Another point I want to make about this, you have heard me for over a year now talk about holding our juveniles in this city accountable for their behavior and trying to hold their parents accountable for knowing how their kids are behaving. What should we expect from our youth if this is the kind of adult behavior that is setting an example for them? That is unacceptable by the adults in our community.
That part's true.
Unacceptable.
That part's true.
Another topic I want to cover real quick. Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. The social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law. Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it distorts the content of what actually happened.
Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river. Do some police work. People reposting a video online is not hindering your police work. Expose the narrative. Expose the whole story if you have it. Now, I think that she's upset because, well, it doesn't exactly paint the city in a good light, doesn't exactly paint her officers in a good light. They didn't have control over the situation. But it seems like the Cincinnati Police Department has a bunch of issues. There's a story from back in May 2025. Cincinnati police officers sued this police chief, Teresa Thiek, alleging bias against white lieutenants. So maybe she's mad that the narrative has been exposed, the narrative that they want to run that, it was nothing. Don't worry about it. It's been exposed as a hate crime, and now she's embarrassed and she has egg on her face again. Maybe that's part of the issue. 931 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Construction on Elon Musk's Music City Loop could begin within a couple of weeks. State and federal leaders announcing that the loop that connects downtown Nashville to the airport will be fully paid for by Musk's Boring Company. That deal gets the blessing of Governor Bill Lee.
They feel confident, and we do too, that this project will be a great one, and it'll move safely through underground and then move people safely through those tunnels.
Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell did not attend yesterday's press conference, but in a statement, he expressed concerns about the impact on Nashville. State House Democrats called it a privatization of state infrastructure. State Rep Justin Jones showed up at the airport for that event, but was kicked out because he didn't secure credentials to attend. He posted this video afterwards.
I went because my constituents have questions about the accessibility and affordability of this project, and if it's in the best interest of our transportation and infrastructure needs that my constituents are dealing with every day. And it just shows us that this is happening in darkness, that it's not in the best interest of Nashvillians or Tennesseans. It's in the corporate interest and the interest of this man who's the wealthiest man in the world, who sees our community as a playground.
The Music City Loop is expected to be fully operational by the fall of 2026. In Murfreesboro, police busted an illegal casino operating out of a business along West Burton Street, where the windows had been blacked out, so were the doors. Neighbors alerted police. They said that there was a full-scale casino inside. 24-year-old Daniela Vargas and 37-year-old Diego Gonzalez are facing felony charges. More trouble for Spirit Airlines. That company will furlough 270 pilots this fall and downgrade 140 others from captain to first officer. Spirit emerged from bankruptcy in March, says it now expects weaker than expected demand for coach class tickets. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
937 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Han. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So, a gay pedophile bought a baby. I don't know how else to frame it. I don't. And one of the most disturbing stories that I've seen on the internet in quite some time, well, since the last time I saw one of these stories, widely circulated video, going viral. It shows a gay couple, and they're having a surrogacy journey. And it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming. Now, step aside the fact that I don't think that we should be allowing gay couples to adopt. I don't. I think that you need a man and a woman. You need a mom. You need a dad. That's the best results for children. And you need them to stay together. I don't think that there's any realistic way you could grow up having a normal life with two dads. Just on its face. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. And I know it's gonna bug some people, but that's my opinion. That's just how I operate. I don't think this should be happening. I think it makes it far too easy for cases like this, which are downright horrifying. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you'll notice a video, and it's two dads, and they're doing like the month birthday celebration with their baby. They keep kissing the kid. One of the dads wears glasses. That's Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell. Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell. Turns out, he's a convicted sex offender with crimes against children. Turns out that this gay couple found a loophole via surrogacy in Pennsylvania where it doesn't really matter if you're a convicted sex offender. You can still buy a baby. It's wild. Redux has the story. Widely circulated video showcasing a gay couple's surrogacy journey has revealed that a baby boy is currently in the custody of a registered child sex offender. The couple, Logan Riley and Brandon Mitchell, gained viral attention after posting a video introducing their newborn son. It has since emerged that Mitchell is a convicted pedophile. The video, which was initially shared by the couple on their own social media platforms, was meant to offer a heartwarming glimpse into the first year of their newborn's life. However, it quickly drew scrutiny after being reposted on July 27th by Irish right-wing activist and political figure Derek Bly on X, saying, "Unless a miracle happens, this child has almost no chance at a normal life." That was the caption. And he's right. He's right. That's before we get to the sex offender stuff. He's right. At the time, when he posted that, he didn't know anything else. He just was operating on the kid has two dads. He didn't understand or know the couple's identity. He didn't know who these people were. But Bly's post drew criticism and ridicule, particularly from advocates of same-sex adoption who called him homophobic. He said, you're awful. This is homophobic. If the child has two loving male parents, there's no evidence whatsoever that he or she will not prosper. That was from Bev Jackson of Alliance LGB. Another response from an ex-user said, "Makes me happy that baby's going to be raised to not hate people and will be loved." Got it. 24 hours after this video goes viral, it has been confirmed that the guy with the glasses, Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell, is a registered child sex offender. Tier 1 sex offender in the state of Pennsylvania. He was arrested in 2016. He was a teacher at Downingtown West High School, and it was while he was a teacher that he attempted to solicit a 16-year-old boy for sexual abuse. The victim in the case was a student at that school. According to records released by Chester County District Attorney and the Downingtown Police Office, Mitchell solicited the boy to send him nude photographs. He also told him that he wanted to watch him masturbate and sent the victim approximately 20 nude photographs of himself. Police executed a search warrant of the teacher's electronic devices and phone records, which revealed that he had exchanged over 12,000 text messages with the victim. These conversations lasted from May 2013 until December 2014. Mitchell had instructed the victim to delete their conversations. Police recovered hundreds of other sexually explicit videos of the child on Mitchell's laptop computer. Mitchell pleaded guilty to felony child pornography possession and one count of corruption of minors, was sentenced to 23 months of incarceration. But court records show, and this is going to infuriate you, sentenced to 23 months, which is just stupid low. If you're soliciting a young boy for naked photos, and you're a teacher at the school, you should be under the jail. Wood chipper feet first. Let's be perfectly honest. He got 23 months. Fun fact, court records show he was granted parole after just 2 months. 2 months. 2 months. You're a teacher at a high school. You're soliciting a 16-year-old boy. You're sending him nude photos of yourself. You're requesting nude photos of that boy. And then you're telling him to delete these conversations. You get 2 months. 2 months. Awful. Part of his conditions following being released was that he have no unsupervised contact with minors and that he surrender his teaching license. And he did that. He quickly surrendered his teaching license, moved on to obtain a job as a chemist at Eurofin's biopharma product testing in Lancaster, where he's worked for the past 9 years. In 2021 was when he got married to Logan Riley, another teacher, mind you, second grade teacher from Maryland, and moved to Seven Valleys, Pennsylvania. In 2023, the two launched a GoFundMe to raise money for a surrogate, which Mitchell advertised on his LinkedIn. Nowhere in the GoFundMe's description does Riley mention that his husband is a convicted sex offender. In November of 2023, Riley updated the GoFundMe with the news that they had successfully found a surrogate. And here we find ourselves today, where we now know a baby is in the custody of a convicted child sex offender. This outlet, Redux, that did the story, reached out to the Pennsylvania State Police responsible for maintaining Mitchell's registration and was informed that the state does not automatically forbid individuals convicted of sex crimes from having children, gaining custody, or exercising parental rights. While Pennsylvania's adoption law does prohibit sex offenders from adopting or fostering children, gestational surrogacy circumvents any such laws through pre-birth parentage orders. Pennsylvania is considered a surrogate-friendly state, and intended parents can obtain a pre-birth order typically after the surrogate has entered the second trimester, which declares the intended parents as the legal parents and places their name on the child's birth certificate. It's unclear if the surrogate was made aware that Mitchell was a convicted sex offender prior to agreeing to the arrangement. You think that would probably change somebody's mind, right? Yeah, I would think so. But I ask you, what should be done in this case? I mean, I think that quickly it needs to be remedied. This child needs to be removed from these gentlemen's custody. And then a full investigation needs to be done and laws need to change. Something like this can never happen again. Whether this was a same-sex couple or an opposite-sex couple, sex offenders should not be allowed to gain and purchase babies through surrogacy, period, full stop. In this case, it's just particularly egregious. Anna Paulina Luna on X saying, why is this child molester allowed to adopt a child? And she added, the PA Attorney General. The fact that this man is exploiting a loophole allowing surrogacy adoption despite being a registered sex offender is disgusting. This should be outlawed. I don't care who you are, what your race is, or your gender. If you're a registered sex offender, you should not be allowed near children, let alone adopt them. It always makes me laugh because during COVID, it was like, oh, wear a mask if it saves one life. If it saves one life. And that was the justification for a lot of the tyrannical overreaches that we saw during COVID. Yet, when we have situations like this, and we go, if it saves one life, they go, shut up, bigot. Shut up. Don't be homophobic. I mean, and that's the conversations that you saw in the immediate aftermath of the original post by the Irish Catholic. And even if the kid wasn't living with a registered sex offender, two dads, you're never going to have a normal life. I'm sorry. There's been numerous studies done that show you need a mom and a dad. And if you have a same-sex parents, it's not going to work out for you as well as it could. And we've seen stories like this, horrific stories like this, numerous times. End of last year, 2024, there was a gay couple in Georgia who showed off picture-perfect family photos, right? And they got 100 years in prison for horrific rape of adopted sons. This gay Georgia couple was convicted of sickening sexually abuse of their two adopted sons. These guys will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. William and Zachary Zulock were each sentenced last week to 100 years. This is from December of 2024. Without the possibility of parole, the Walton County District Attorney Office announced the two defendants created a house of horrors and put their extremely dark desires above everything and everyone else, the district attorney said. However, the depth of the defendant's depravity, which is as deep as it gets, is not greater than the resolve for those who fought for justice and the strength of the victims in this case. The resolve I've seen from these two young victims over the last 2 years is truly inspiring. I mean, you see these stories, and it's just awful. and dark. And I have to ask the question, is it wrong to be allowing gay couples to adopt? Are you opening a door for abuse that wouldn't be there otherwise? Is it riskier? I think it is. I think it is. And people will say, well, would you rather not have the kids get adopted? And no, that's not the case at all. But I think that there's a very strong anti-Christian bias in a lot of these adoption agencies and a lot of these foster care agencies. We've seen, especially during the Joe Biden presidency, just revolting anti-Christian bias. And there's a lot of sites, Focus on the Family. They're a pro-family Christian ministry that promotes adoption and foster care for families. But they say since 2008, they've been offering free resources and stuff for Christian families. But they need to encourage Christians to keep adopting people because of the anti-Christian bias in the adoption industry. And it is. I mean, it's an adoption industry. There's been a war on faith-based adoption agencies. Heritage Foundation has that story. The Stop the War on Faith-Based Adoption Agencies. Yet another adoption agency is closing its door at a time when thousands of young victims of the opioid crisis flood America's foster care systems. This time it's Catholic Charities of Buffalo, New York. The agency can no longer cooperate with the government there because the state law will not allow Catholic Charities to operate consistently with its religious mission. You see this so often. And people, oh, you wouldn't want the kids to just not get adopted at all, would you? It's like, no, I want good Christian families to be adopting these kids, and I don't want these kids to be deprived of a mom and a dad. This story is horrific and sickening. Again, we need to find a way to get this baby away from this couple. I'll be paying attention to this story and providing you updates along the way, but it's horrific. And if we're going to be treated by how we judge, how we protect the most vulnerable in our society, we're doing an awful job. We're doing a terrible job as a country. And this story is just another example of that. It's the slippery slope. And the more I see stories like this, the more I'm going to be like, dude, we shouldn't be doing surrogacy at all. Let's be perfectly honest. 950. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Coming up here, President Trump weighs in on the Midtown Manhattan shooting and what the latest data shows about home prices as interest rates remain high. Those stories up at 10 o'clock here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Donald Trump has had a wild few days with the EU trade deal coming in, the golf course opening. And did anybody else notice that while he's in Scotland, Aberdeen, they're opening up his new golf course. They did that earlier today. But anybody else notice how he's hosting the UK Prime Minister in Scotland? Donald Trump is welcoming in these world leaders. I don't know why, but it took me a second to realize, like, oh, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. We're not home. Donald Trump should be the visitor, yet he's welcoming all these people in. It's been pretty wild, and it's working. Donald Trump doing the ribbon cutting this morning, talking about the great deal that he made with the European Union. Oh, you want to give me some audio there, Louis? Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Just signed a very big deal, as you know, with the European Union, but also with the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom was a week before, and it's a very big deal and a great deal for the country, and it's a great deal for everybody. So I just want to thank him and everybody that worked so hard on it. They've been trying to get it done for 12 years. We got it done. So somebody did a good job.
Yeah, somebody did do a good job. I mean, this deal with the EU, it's been just heralded by everybody. Even the left has had to remark on how fantastic it's been. He said thank you to everybody while he's at the golf course grand opening, including the media. I think it's because of how they've been covering this trade deal with the EU.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the media. The media's been terrific, believe it or not. I didn't use the word fake news one time, not one time. Today they're not fake news. Today they're wonderful news. But I just want to thank you. They've treated us really well, and they respect what we've done really at a level that you rarely see nowadays. So I really very much appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and it has been weird to see the media talk about the EU deal so favorably, and they have. I mean, they've been practically tripping over themselves to say that Donald Trump won that deal. But this is as Trump wraps up a 5-day visit to Scotland. He was joined today on the golf course by soccer players, golfers, business leaders for a first round of golf at his new second 18-hole course at Trump International near Aberdeen in Scotland. He is now going to be heading back to America after playing a quick round. They say he's going to focus on addressing crises in the Middle East and elsewhere. But he did have time while he was there to sit down and do an interview with Breitbart News. And during that Breitbart News interview, he talked again about that EU trade deal.
And we made a deal where they're going to buy, billions and billions of dollars worth of our product and our energy. They've opened up the entire European Union for free trade, which is something that nobody thought could happen, so that our countries can now go in there and compete, which is a big, it's one of the biggest markets. Might be the biggest market, somebody said, but it's right up there when you add the countries, all of those countries together. And we have the right to work there. We don't pay tariffs, and they will be. We're bringing the tariffs for them to 15%. They're going to buy $600 billion worth of our military equipment. They're going to buy hundreds of billions of dollars of other equipment and $750 billion worth of energy. And it's a great deal for both. I think Europe's going to be very happy with it. They seem to be very happy, and their market's doing good. And it's a deal good for peace. We have all these countries. If we didn't make the deal, there'd always be like a hangover. It would be not good. But it's a great deal for the United States, and I hope it's a great deal for them too.
Well, the media in the United States has been covering this fairly. I know. I mean, I was shocked. Multiple instances on CNN where they're saying, no, listen, guys, this is a huge win. This deal is a win. You're also getting comments from guys like Mike Johnson saying America's back and the world is taking notice. I think you can only give that credit to Donald Trump. I'll bring you the glowing reviews from CNN all the way. Plus, you heard Trump there saying, trade creates peace. And he's right. He actually used his trade leverage to negotiate another peace deal yesterday between Thailand and Cambodia. Donald Trump had some things to say about that as well. I'll bring you that on the way. 10 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to watch it in the Gulch this morning on 40 eastbound. The on-ramp from Broadway, that's 209B. There's a crash and it's on the ramp. The ramp is partially blocked. A small memorial's been set up outside 345 Park Avenue after yesterday's shooting that left 4 people dead. Meantime, President Trump is responding now from overseas.
President Trump in Scotland posts on social media Tuesday morning that he was briefed on the shooting that took place Monday evening in Midtown Manhattan, saying it's a place that he knows and loves. The president said he trusts law enforcement will determine why the suspect committed what he calls, quote, a senseless act of violence, and says his heart is with the families of the 4 victims. Police sources tell ABC the man who opened fire in the Manhattan office building that houses the NFL headquarters had a note claiming he suffered from the brain disease, CTE. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
In local news, an older man has died after a bizarre accident in Nashville. Police say that man fell into the street and then was struck by a vehicle. News 2's Nikel Smith.
This happened at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and 10th Avenue North. Metro Police tell us the driver of the car did stay at the scene. Police are still investigating.
The man was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. The medical examiner's office has yet to identify a body that was discovered in a creek near Old Paragon Mills Road yesterday. Metro Police say a resident nearby spotted the body. They said the body appears to have been there for an extended period of time. Well, for the first time, we're hearing from the man who held a handgun to the Walmart stabbing suspect in Michigan until that man dropped his knife. Retired Marine Derek Perry says he knew it was his duty to step in.
God took over and said, we're going to get you through this. You need to go.
He and a group of other shoppers subdued that suspect, 42-year-old Brendan Gilly, until police arrived. Gilly has a history of mental illness and has served time for assault and domestic violence-related offenses. A measure of housing prices has just been released, and it shows that more homes are on the market and there's less demand to buy them. So that's finally caused prices to come down.
The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index lags by 2 months, so the latest figures are for May. The seasonally adjusted price of a home in 20 surveyed cities rose that month 2.8% from May of last year, slowing from the 3.4% annual gain in April. Analysts attribute the declining rate of price increases to stubbornly high interest rates.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. The Federal Reserve begins its 2-day meeting today, and it's expected that it'll leave the short-term interest rates unchanged when that meeting wraps up tomorrow. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and now Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. We just crossed 10,000 on the YouTube page. That's a big deal. Very grateful for you guys. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Donald Trump reimagining what trade can do for the United States and what trade can do for the globe. And it's not just about making money. Donald Trump says the trade stuff is also about making peace. And he used the trade leverage from the United States to forge peace between Cambodia and Thailand. This is Donald Trump in Scotland discussing that deal.
Well, Thailand's a very big trading partner, and Cambodia lesser so, but they do a lot. And I saw that, I read in a lot of different places, including yours, Breitbart, that they were really going at it. And they do. You know, they've had many conflicts and wars over the years. I guess it's a 500-year period. When I spoke to them, they said 500 years. They said, that's a lot. But now it was raging and raging hard. People were being killed at the border a lot. And I said, listen, we're doing a trading deal. And I said to Thailand, we're doing a trading deal. And I'm not going to do a deal if you're going to be killing each other. And I spoke to Cambodia, said essentially the same thing. I dealt with the two prime ministers. They were terrific people. And they don't want to see a war, but somebody had to implement what I did. And we started a series of discussions back and forth. And within less than a day, we have it settled. And I guess now, based on what you're saying, they've just said we're going to have peace.
It's unbelievable. I mean, again, Donald Trump doesn't just see trade as a way to make money. He sees it as a way to make peace. And he's spoken about this ad nauseum. Let's lift you out of this hellhole that you're living in and bring some prosperity to this region and see what happens. Peace through trade. Wild. Now, the media, they've been doing their best over the past few months to say, oh, it's going to be a recession. Oh, everything's terrible. I mean, they spent a few days saying that the people in Scotland didn't want Donald Trump there, which I don't know if you were keeping score at home, but that turned out to be, fake news. The people in Scotland were very excited to have Donald Trump there.
To catch a glimpse of the President of the United States, I think I really admire what he does for the US. He really is backing and standing up for his people and what's right for his country. So I only hope our Prime Minister could take a little bit of advice or inspiration from him.
And we're just super excited to get a glimpse of him today, and we'd be even more excited to get to meet him.
I mean, people in Scotland very excited. I could let that clip play on and on and on. Dozens of Scots very excited. But Trump isn't going over there just to open up a golf course. He's not just going over there for peace deals. He's also giving a voice to the voiceless out there. And a lot of this trip, Trump has spent talking about the windmills that are ruining the natural beauty of Europe. He spent a lot of time talking about the mass immigration that is ruining the beauty of Europe. And Donald Trump saying what a lot of people in Europe feel, giving them a voice. A lot of the things that Donald Trump said on this visit, if you posted on Facebook in the UK, you'd get a knock on the door. Hey, mate, we got to check out your posts. We got to have a quick look at your wall here. He's giving a voice to the voiceless, and he's doing this via trade. The trade deals, huge win. Howard Lutnick on Fox News talking about the billions and billions in revenue we're getting from this trade deal and what it means for America.
Well, remember, the European Union is $20 trillion economy, 450 million people. I mean, it is head and shoulders bigger than all the other Western civilizations. So the fact is the European Union is the monster deal. President Trump did that deal yesterday. We were all together in Scotland. We got the deal done. So here how it goes. The European Union is going to pay 15%, and they sell us $600 billion worth of goods. That's $90 billion for America, and they agreed for the first time ever to cut all their tariffs, cut their barriers, and let American businesses and farmers and ranchers and fishermen finally sell into the European Union. Massive market. This is huge for America.
Huge for America. Massive market. The biggest market. This is that 10-point buck that's going to be on the wall. And Donald Trump got it done. Donald Trump got it done. When everybody, the naysayers, said it couldn't be done, now Donald Trump is going, yeah, I did that. And the reporters, did the EU give up any concessions? And the EU president says, no, this is about rebalancing. Oh, weird. Kind of what Donald Trump said in the beginning, that the way we trade is completely imbalanced and unfair. And now you have these world leaders going, yeah, no, he's right. Trump was right. Mike Johnson saying America is back and the world is taking notice.
America's back. We are the great superpower on the planet. Everybody around the world's taking notice. Our allies are applauding and our enemies are shaking in their boots. It's a great time to be an American. It's a great time to be a Republican.
And in 2025 and in the 26 midterms, the thing that's different now is the margins are going to be small for either party. And I guess it's because so few House seats are up for in danger, for example. I mean, there are 13 House seats that Dems have won in districts the president polled better. Overall, the GOP seats that are in possible jeopardy, they label at 29. How do you feel about both those numbers?
I feel great. When I say we're bullish about the 2026 midterm, we really are. We are going to grow the House majority for the Republican Party. Lots of reasons for that. You've implied a few of them tonight, but we had a true demographic shift in the 2024 election. Record numbers of Hispanic and Latino voters, Black and African American voters, Jewish voters, union workers, people who came to the Republican Party who had not traditionally been there in large numbers. We've now just delivered for them and will continue to do so they'll stay with us. And then we have that very favorable election map. As you said, 13 House Democrats sitting in districts that Trump won. They're terrified. We only have 3 House Republicans in districts that Kamala Harris won. Lopsided map, offensive opportunity for us. We're going to go out and take those seats back and grow that majority. So my job's just a little bit easier, bro.
I do think that we're going to grow the majority in the midterms. And I think that you can point to the southern border and you can point to the economy. You can also say thank you to all the experts that were talking just copious amounts of garbage about a recession, about Americans paying the cost of tariffs. We haven't seen it yet. And even the leftist mainstream media is coming around on it. Jeff Zeleny was on CNN yesterday, and he's like, guys, I don't know how to tell you this. Everybody sitting down. Trump was right on the tariffs. And he's been using the tariffs to bring these countries to the negotiating table, and it's working.
Isabel, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order. That has been one of his central priorities since taking office in January. He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working in terms of bringing other countries, allies, and adversaries alike, in some cases, to the negotiating table. And the latest example was today here in Scotland when the leader of the European Commission, who of course is negotiating for the European Union, she agreed to a 15% across-the-board tariff. Now that is significantly higher than the 10% tariffs in existence now, but it's much lower than the 30% threat that was coming on Friday and the 50% threat that was made in May. So clearly there has been an instance where the president has been using his threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and in this case it certainly worked.
Oh, in this case, it certainly worked. The president using the threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating. Yeah, that's negotiating 101. Like negotiating 101. Oh, you tell you what, you ever want to make $100,000 at your job? You know what you do? You go in and you ask for $115,000, right? So because then when they talk you down, you get to where you wanted to be in the first place. Yeah, that's how negotiating works. And if you're good at it, you always go in high. But CNN admitting that the tariff strategy works, brings people to the table. You know what else it does? It brings jobs back to America. And you're seeing story after story of the reindustrialization of America because of Donald Trump's tariffs. And you think that that's not going to help him in the midterms? Yes, of course it's going to help him in the midterms. We got a factory coming back to North Carolina making furniture.
Manufacturing is making a comeback in Graham County more than a decade after the Stanley Furniture plant closed in Robbinsville. News 13's Rex Hodge reports a global eco-friendly packaging company will renovate the furniture factory, bringing with it hundreds of jobs.
The new company coming into the closed-up old Stanley Furniture company here in Robbinsville makes recyclable cardboard to-go trays.
And they're going to be, I'm going to be investing $80.5
million with a possibility of 515 new jobs.
I mean, listen, this is just amazing. This is something that wouldn't have come to America if it wasn't for Donald Trump. And while this is one of the smaller ones, this isn't a $900 billion investment from some AI company. This is going to make a real difference in a real community in North Carolina. And you're seeing this replicated throughout the United States. You don't want to pay a tariff, build your product here in America. It's huge. It's huge. And the ripple effects in these communities are going to be felt. Even leftists like Bill Maher on his show over the weekend was like, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but I was wrong about the tariffs. And it's like, yeah, you were wrong about the tariffs, weren't you?
Tariffs. Now, I remember along with probably most people, were saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had a thing how the country the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen.
Oh, weird. Much to the chagrin of lefties everywhere. It didn't happen. It never happened. Hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting. Hold on. Wait. Still hasn't happened. Weird. Stock market at record highs. Record investment into this country. You got lefties like Bill Maher admitting Trump's strategy worked. You got CNN admitting Trump's strategy on tariffs work. CNN, I mean, at a certain point, they're going to lose whatever left of viewers they have if they keep saying nice things about Donald Trump. CNN's Anna Kubin was on the network last night talking about the EU trade deal, and she said, guys, this is what Donald Trump wanted to do. Redress the imbalances that he sees in American trade.
This is part of Trump's real crusade to redress what he perceives to be imbalances, unfairness towards America from U.S. trading partners. Just to give you one example, the EU, he has that really has been in Trump's crosshairs for quite a while now. He has referred to the EU as being designed to screw the U.S., and he's called out tariffs, but also the non-tariff barriers that the EU places on the U.S., like a digital service tax, for example. So the bigger picture is that Trump is still very much pursuing his longer-term goal of achieving what he perceives to be fairness for America.
Yeah, fairness for America. If you want access to our economy, you're going to have to play ball. This is a big win. CNN also had on Professor David Collins, and he said of the U.S.-EU trade deal that it's a massive win for the Trump administration. And again, guys, this aired on CNN. This didn't air on Fox News. This is on the worldwide leader. This is on CNN.
Is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump and just terrible negotiation on the part of the EU? I mean, how do you...
I think that's an accurate assessment. Obviously, it's better than not having any deal at all at 30% or something, but this is really a wasted opportunity, I think, for the EU and absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration. I found myself just overwhelmed with the positive coverage of the EU trade deal on CNN of all places. It was like clip after clip last night I'm coming across where they're just singing the president's praises. This is KPMG chief economist Diane Swank on President Trump's EU trade deal.
Who is this deal a win for?
Well, I think it is a win for the administration. In terms of our clients and what we're dealing with, they wanted to see some clarity, and we're starting to see an end game emerge, even though we're not to the end yet.
It's a win for the administration, she says. It's a win for the administration. Yep. It's a win for the administration. Trump has completely shaken up the global economy. He's redesigning it in what he desires, what he perceives as America's image. And it's going to benefit America and Americans. It's been a while since we've had somebody doing this for us. It's been a while. We got a couple more days till that August 1st deadline. Are more countries going to come to the negotiating table? I don't know. There's been rumors. Is Trump seeking a summit with Xi Jinping before that August 1st deadline? Trump responded to those rumors. Does he need to bend the knee for Xi? We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. We got a hot day today. It's dry, but if you got waterproofing issues at your house, you're like, I'll take the heat, man, as long as it's dry. Well, it doesn't look too good for you the rest of the week. I mean, rain is going to come back, and so will that waterproofing issue. And these small problems are never going to stay small forever. If that water keeps getting into your crawl space and in your basement, it's creating mold. It's creating wood rot. That's leading to foundation issues. Don't let it become a bigger problem. Call United Structural Systems today. They're not going to send a sales guy to your house. They're going to send an expert. They're not going to send somebody worried about their quota. They're going to send somebody worried about your crawl space. That's the difference. And USS has helped 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky with this strategy. They're not about sales pressure. They just want to fix your issue. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, USS are the guys to call. They're going to stand behind their work with warranties you can trust. This is how they stayed in the game for 30 years. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call the best. Call USS. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, keeping homes dry and stable. Online at USSTN.com.
Coming up, his target was the NFL. But a Blackstone executive was killed in that Midtown Manhattan shooting last night, and why police think that the murder of a husband and wife in Arkansas may have been premeditated. Those stories coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones. She's one of the best in the business. Headlines on the way in about 5 minutes, a little less. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm going through the super text line. I'm trying to reply to everybody. There's a lot of text, and I apologize. And shout out to the YouTube chat as well. Hit like and subscribe. A lot of ways to get involved with the show. 615-737-9986. That's the phone number. That's the number to text. You can jump in the YouTube chat, all the things. But I'm going through it. 1860. Just a poor job of negotiations by the EU. All caps. No credit should go to Donald. Okay. I didn't even dignify that one with a response. I said, LOL. Okay. Okay. You got it. No credit should go to Donald because he wasn't the one who said we need to renegotiate in the first place, right? No, it wasn't him. I got another text here. Trump has demonstrated that he can disclose or keep hidden the Epstein perpetrators. and therefore has leverage for deals like we've seen recently. Kudos, Trump, so much winning. I don't necessarily. I asked this individual to call in, Tom, 4870. I said, Tom, call in. Are you saying that Trump is actually using the Epstein files as leverage to get this stuff done? And that's a positive, or is this like a slight against Trump? Are you saying that Trump is covering up the Epstein files? I'm just a little confused by the text. If you can give me some clarity, Tom, I'd appreciate it, or call into the show, 615-737-9986. The way I originally read that was kind of like a slight towards Trump. And I don't know, man. I'm looking at all the Epstein stuff, and I see Trump and the DOJ working to unseal some testimony, and I see the left using it as a weapon against Trump, the left that didn't care about Epstein for years. J.D. Vance was talking about this yesterday. He had a reporter ask him about the Epstein stuff, and J.D. just goes off. This is Vance yesterday on the Epstein files.
Hi, Mr. Vice President. Julie Carr-Smythe from the Associated Press. I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP of protecting pedophiles, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information and, frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff. You've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the attorney general, and I know, because I talk to her all the time, the attorney general is hard at work on that issue right now.
So that's the first part. Oh, Trump's covering this up. Okay, but they've gone to the judge in New York and the judge in Florida and about unsealing grand jury testimony. We've sent the deputy AG, Todd Blanche, to interview Ghislaine Maxwell. There's talk about limited immunity, talk about does she get a pardon if she gives up names. Now, I do believe that the president is working on this behind the scenes. You hear him in the comments that he gives to reporters. Talk to Bill Clinton. Talk to Larry Summers. Talk to these people. Why are we asking Trump? But it goes to the second point that J.D. Vance is about to make. The left didn't care about this issue until it became a weapon to use against Donald Trump.
But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case, and now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency, and somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs, and that's the focus of the administration.
I mean, excellent answer by J.D. Vance. Also, I think that this is the first time where, rightfully so, the George Bush administration has been called out on the Epstein stuff as well. I can't remember another time where I've heard anybody from the Trump administration bring up George Bush's DOJ, and I think that is right to do so 100%. But Trump's working behind the scenes. DOJ is trying to unseal that testimony. It was a federal judge in Florida that's not releasing the Epstein grand jury testimony. That's not connected to the grand jury testimony in New York, which they're still trying to work on. They're still getting more information from Ghislaine, which, again, take it with a grain of salt. She's obviously angling and looking out for herself, but To say that this administration is trying to sweep it under the rug, I think is a mischaracterization of what's happening. 1031 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Police in Las Vegas are searching the home of 27-year-old Shane Tamura. He's the man who killed several people at a Midtown Manhattan office building, which houses the offices of the NFL. ABC's Will Reeve.
Police say he entered the lobby and began spraying bullets, hitting a police officer, another man, a security guard, and a woman who took cover behind a pillar.
The 33rd floor is not secure. We have multiple people shot.
The suspect taking the elevator to the 33rd floor, where he again opened fire, killing a woman there before barricading himself inside. Authorities saying the suspect died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest.
An executive at Blackstone was one of the 4 people killed in that shooting. Her name is Wesley LePatner. She was married with children. A group of lawmakers were denied a tour at an immigration detention facility in Maryland. So they staged a sit-in outside that facility.
In response to the lawmakers' visit, the Department of Homeland Security telling them, quote, if you need a photo op with the violent criminal illegal aliens you're protecting, schedule a tour. Van Hollen accusing the DHS and Secretary Kristi Noem of lying, writing, quote, we did request a visit, but we didn't need to. Adding, when I read the law to an ICE official, she said they're no longer allowing any tours, regardless of notice.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. In the widening search for a double murderer, police are distributing a sketch of a suspect in Arkansas and neighboring Oklahoma. The motive in this killing of Clinton and Kristen Brink is still, though, a mystery.
The first police dispatch after the couple's bodies were found on a northwest Arkansas hiking trail described the suspect's getaway.
Took off in a small black sports car with tape over the plate.
To criminologist Angelo Brown at Arkansas State University,
covering their license plate with some tape, that huge sign that this was premeditated.
The 7- and 9-year-old daughters of Clinton and Kristen Brink were not harmed by the man who murdered their parents. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
1038, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Have you found us on YouTube and Rumble yet? You can watch the show live. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do so, and jump in the chat. The YouTube chat's always jumping. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Those guys keep the conversation going. You can keep the conversation going as well if you want to be in the YouTube chat or on the text line or phone line, 615-737-9986. Jerry in Smyrna wants to talk about little Dan Bongino. What's up, Jerry? Yo, Jerry, what's up, man? Oh, you guys put him up on the board, man. Jerry, what's up, dude?
The thing with Epstein, it's not so much, I don't understand why Trump called it a hoax to begin with. Given that people went to prison, it isn't a hoax. That's number one. Number two, he's got his attorney general, the assistant director, and the director of the FBI saying that they had truckloads of information, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing here. We don't have it. Those three people aren't stupid, and they're not idiots. So how do you account for that statement?
So, all right. So for the Pam Bondi document release saying that there's nothing else to report on, unforced error, and I think that falls at her feet, 100%. That being said, the frustration that we saw from Trump, and granted, hindsight's 2020, I think that's because he knew that they've been working 4 months on this Obama information. Tulsi Gabbard said she started working on that day one, and in the days leading up to when they're planning to drop the Obama information, they get a call from, was it the Wall Street Journal? Hey, we have this birthday card here from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. And I think that he gets frustrated with those stories, calls that a hoax, and says that that's distracting because everything else that was going on at the same time. Again, that's my estimation. With hindsight being 2020, at the time, I was just as frustrated as everybody else.
Well, I agree with you. The birthday card, the whole thing with Trump and Epstein is probably, there could be something there, but I doubt anything that would ever come of it. But
I mean, did they know each other? Sure, but
I don't have any problems with any of that. But what about those three people? They're high-level people in the cabinet and in the FBI, and they made a ludicrous statement that they don't have anything.
Yep.
That's a bunch of BS.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree with it. That being said, though, I think that Donald Trump listens to his base. I think that Donald Trump saw the anger that rose up, and I think that he corrected it by saying that we're going to release anything that's credible. We're going to try to unseal these grand jury testimonies, one of which is being blocked by a Florida federal judge. They sent the deputy AG to go talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Who knows how credible of a witness she is going to be, and we know that she's going to be looking out for herself. But to say that they're trying to sweep it under the rug at this point, that's a mischaracterization.
Well, I think Trump told them what to say. I think he got his foot stuck in something. He should have never opened the door to any of that stuff. Why he did it is beyond me, but he did it.
Yeah.
And he got burned.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but
to say these people had nothing, I don't buy that. Somebody somewhere said, oops, and this is what you're going to say, and I'm surprised they even went along with it. I don't think Bongino is going to go along with it much longer. I think he's fed up.
Well, and
so
Bongino is, and he released a statement, was it over the weekend, saying that what he's seen has shook him to his core, that a republic can't be run like this, giving updates. And it did seem like he was alluding to what was happening because of the Epstein stuff behind the scenes. Doesn't make direct mention to that, but he's staying on the job. There was rumors that he was frustrated that he was going to leave. So I think by him staying, maybe that's a sign that we're going to get something done and accomplished. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. The sad part about it is that anybody that questions, some of this stuff right away, they're against Trump. But when it hits you in the face, and like I said, these three people, how much more credible can you get? Make some stupid quote like that they've got nothing. That just reeks of something's going on.
100%.
It's that simple.
100%.
And we're never going to find out anyway.
But I think that
thanks.
no, I appreciate it, Jerry. I do. I still hold out hope that we'll find out something at some point down the line. The hope dwindles every day that we continue down this road. But no, I mean, listen, I support Donald J. Trump. I think that he heard the criticism from his base, and I think that they're trying to correct it behind the scenes. Brian and Mount Juliet, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what's up?
What do you got?
It's a beautiful day out here on the interstate.
Yes, sir.
My problem with all this is I'm just like you. I'm not one of those guys you move to the top because I disagree with you. I don't. I agree with you. But something smells bad and there's smoke and everybody knows it. But why don't we put more scrutiny on the victims? I don't think we have to know who or, the details maybe, but the victims were there. So did it happen or not? Do we have them on the record somewhere, maybe secretive, that protects them? I don't understand that. And I've said this to you before. Where are the daddies of these girls?
Yeah.
I would be going. You would say, well, he got put in jail for 100 years. I'd be like the guy
Honestly.
that called into Matt Murphy's. Matt Murphy had a caller about 2 weeks ago, and the guy said something about, I caught a guy abusing my son and I killed him right there. You know how he says dead right there?
Yep.
Well, he didn't use that term, but the guy said, and I served 18 and a half years for it. And it was such a travesty protecting young people and innocent people and elderly. But these girls, they might have been part and parcel. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, is there some scenarios where you could see a girl doing this willingly? Sure. But I will say this: predators, they're not targeting girls with strong families. They're not.
No.
And you can find countless interviews with sexual predators in countless documentaries, and they say, yeah, if that kid has a strong dad, I'm staying away.
No, I agree 100%. And let me tell you this: I heard Oprah Winfrey one time say, and I can't stand her, but I heard her say one time, you can't fix a sexual predator. They're not rehabable. Whatever.
No.
I don't think that's a word, but I believe that.
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah,
and
keep it up. I think you're on the right path. I think you question it without being disrespectful and supportive of the president. He's done too much good.
Yeah,
And he's got
but
a
I
good
also
family
think I also think as some of his biggest supporters, we have to be willing and able to call it out when we think it's bovine scatology.
Absolutely.
We have to.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're that cult that the left accuses us of being. I appreciate
Absolutely.
the call, Brian. Thanks so much. And to your point, we said Oprah said, child predators aren't rehabable. Yeah, actually, if I could make a suggestion, I would expand the death penalty for sex offenders. A lot of times, especially with the kids, one of the greatest influences on them becoming predators is being abused themselves as children. So it's not just like they're not rehabable, they're creating more. So, yeah, maybe we could put an end to that. I'd be a fan. Back on the Ghislaine Maxwell front, she has filed an appeal to the Supreme Court to overturn her 2021 sex trafficking conviction. I mean, she must be thinking like everybody else, hey, if there's no list here and there's no evidence and nobody did anything wrong, why on earth am I sitting in jail? Ghislaine Maxwell has formally filed that petition to the U.S. Supreme Court seeking to overturn her 2021 conviction on sex trafficking charges. We're appealing not only to the Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised she would not be prosecuted, a representative for Maxwell said, according to CNN. I don't know about you. I think Maxwell was the brains behind the operation. I think Epstein was the front man. I think Epstein was the fall guy. And I think Ghislaine Maxwell was the brains behind the operation. Just me. Meanwhile, in Donald Trump's America, I think that we're going to gain a lot of seats come the midterms. The left is using this as a dividing tactic, the Epstein stuff, for the base. And that's fine. They can attempt to. We're still seeing Donald Trump's approval rating go up among Republicans. And while this frustrates a lot of us, okay, yeah, we're frustrated. What's the alternative, right? And the alternative, it doesn't look any better. Let's be perfectly honest. While Trump's approval rating continues to climb with his base, Democrats' favorability has fallen to a 35-year low. 35-year low. The Democrat Party's image has fallen to its lowest level since 1990, according to a new Wall Street Journal poll, as voters favor Republicans on nearly all major issues, while expressing disapproval of Donald Trump's approach to key policy, such as inflation, tariffs, foreign policy. But the main things, the economy, the border, Trump is winning on those. The Democrats are not. I mean, all you have to do is listen to the Democrats' reaction to the EU trade deal, which everyone up to and including the worldwide leader in news, CNN, has lauded as a massive accomplishment. You got Democrat leadership finding themselves a podium to talk down to the EU trade deal. Chuck Schumer, this was yesterday, he's doing his best, doing his absolute best, giving it his college try to besmirch Donald Trump.
Over the weekend, Donald Trump announced a new trade deal with the European Union. It will result in a $90 billion per year tax hike on American families.
Give me your sources. Can somebody fact check this guy?
When you raise tariffs, the American families pay for it.
When did that happen? It hasn't happened yet.
$90 billion tax on American families in this tariff deal with the European Union. Donald Trump is, as usual, trying to hype up, exaggerate, and lie about his accomplishments. Donald Trump always lies, almost always lies about his accomplishments, and this is no exception.
This is no, turns page, exception. Okay, got it. He's lying. This isn't a good deal for America. This isn't a good deal for Americans. It's funny you say that because it is a good deal for Americans. Charles Payne was breaking down the historic trade deal on Fox News. And the question that was posed to him is, how does this benefit Americans? It's a good question, one that deserves an answer. And Charles Payne answered that question yesterday on the Will Cain Show on Fox News.
Is it going to hit their pocketbooks?
Well, the investments, the $750 billion natural gas. Think about all the folks in America who work in the natural gas and the fossil fuels industry. That just a year ago, the White House was trying to put out of business completely. So the money from that alone is going to be phenomenal. $600 billion invested in America. Foreign direct investment, one of the underpinnings of any economy. We're lucky that we're so attractive, but even more so now. These numbers, they sound, it's, I guess saying $600 billion now rolls off the tongue, but it is enormous. It is absolutely enormous. And again, the whole idea is to rebuild our industrial base. Well, right now, to be quite frank with you, we entered into a protracted war with China. We couldn't produce enough ships. We couldn't produce enough of weaponry. We could not. We've given it all away. Wall Street, by the way, doesn't like this deal. The titans of Wall Street don't like this deal because if anyone eats it outside these foreign countries, it would be Wall Street companies. Now, I want you to think about this. About 20 years ago, the average operating margin for an S&P company was 6.67%. Recently it hit 15%, now it's 13%. We've got a stock market since 2009 has been unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. The fix is in. The fix is in for Wall Street. It's been the most amazing gravy train in history. Essentially, this plan is to share some of that wealth. Okay, your operating margin may go from 15 to 13%. Your stock will still be okay, but now we're going to reindustrialize the nation. We're going to build factories. We're going to put Americans back to work.
It's pretty simple to see how this benefits Americans, and Chuck Schumer probably knows that. He won't say it out loud because of the implications of Donald Trump being right. But what Charles Payne says there, guys, the hundreds of billions of dollars in LNG, Joe Biden wanted to put that industry out of business. Chuck Schumer's up there, these tariffs is going to be a $90 billion tax hike. Joe Biden tried to kill an industry. They weren't worried about how that affected Americans, though. No, of course not. Of course not. This administration keeps working for the American people. That's what the Democrats are the most upset about, I think. And they do. They keep working. Hey, did you know that Donald Trump doesn't want a summit with Xi Jinping? There's been a lot of talk that he's going to bend the knee to China. August 1st is coming up. Those deals got to get done. And a lot of the fake news is saying, there's a deal coming. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. The fake news is reporting that I'm seeking a summit with President Xi of China. This is not correct. I'm not seeking anything. I may go to China, but it'll only be at the invitation of President Xi, which has been extended. Otherwise, no interest. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald Trump is not bending the knee when it comes to negotiating. He's not going to bend the knee with China. Donald Trump is focused on one thing and one thing only: America first. It's 10:53, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Love Shane. You're going to love him too. Are you tired of health insurance that feels like a math test? Like you don't know what you're doing. Confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that takes a bite out of the budget. We got to make it simple. And Cover Nash is going to do that for you. They have a brand new nationwide PPO plan that will give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. with no referrals and no red tape. Now, listen to the benefits of this. Just a $250 deductible, a flat $50 copay for any doctor, even specialist visits. Outpatient surgeries, $250 copay. Hospital stays, $1,000 total. Free preventive care, colonoscopies, mammograms, physicals, because it's ACA compliant. Now, here's the kicker. There's going to be no surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. And if that's not the perfect fit, Cover Nash works with 75 top-rated insurance companies. They'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. All you need to do is visit covernash.com or pick up the phone and call Shane Ring today. 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Cover Nash Health Insurance, made simple. Finally, covernash.com.
Extreme heat warning for Nashville, but might housing prices be cooling off in Music City? We'll tell you about that at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver with a professional tease on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. If you get hot today, you're going to want clean water. BetterWater.com. So the heat's been nuts. You know, we had baseball practice canceled last night because of the heat.
Really?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I did.
Bring water. What are we doing? These kids need to get out there.
Yeah, man. I remember our coaches on really, really hot days, they would have huge slices of ice cold watermelon for us.
There you go. That's
during
solid.
breaks and after practice, man. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, when we found out that practice was canceled for the heat, we did what any parent would do. We sent the kids outside.
Yeah.
We said, get out there and go play.
Exactly.
We can't have you in here all day. All right, so there's a lot of news to discuss. It's hot in Florida, too. It's got me just thinking about that story we covered yesterday. Heartbreaking. What's going on in Alligator Alcatraz. You know, it's hot. There's mosquitoes. At times, the air conditioning makes it too cold. They only get 3 meals, and they keep the lights on all day. It's terrible. Well, I have a positive development. At least 100 detainees have been released from Alligator Alcatraz. Sure, they were released single file onto a plane and then sent back to their home countries, but released nonetheless. It's a positive development for those hundreds, meaning we have more beds available in Alligator Alcatraz. And I got just the individuals we need to send them. We'll talk about it when we get back. 11 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And Nashville and most of Middle Tennessee's under an extreme heat warning. Meteorologist Kenton Jawecki says temperatures could feel like 116 degrees in places today.
In the Northeast, we're looking at heat indices up to about 104 potentially in New York City and elsewhere, even up to Boston, feeling like the 90s to lower 100s, and down to Orlando and into Jacksonville. You're also getting close to 116 today, too. That, again, is very dangerous, especially when a lot of these areas are starting their mornings already in the 80s.
Right now, the heat index is only 92 degrees in Nashville. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Increasing supply and slowing demand finally causing housing prices to cool off. ABC's Jim Ryan has the latest look at just released numbers from 20 U.S. cities.
The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index lags by 2 months, so the latest figures are for May. The seasonally adjusted price of a home in 20 surveyed cities rose that month 2.8% from May of last year, slowing from the 3.4% annual gain in April. Analysts attribute the declining rate of price increases to stubbornly high interest rates.
Right now, in the Nashville housing market, median home sale price was $535,277 in June. This represents a modest 1.3 increase year over year. The man who killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but he took the wrong elevator, according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. An ABC News contributor and former NYPD Chief Detective Robert Boyce says investigators will be combing through the evidence, namely a note which the shooter left behind.
He wanted to make a statement when he died, and he did. And so that's where we are right now. But there's more here to this. Where did he get the gun? How did he get the gun when he had this documented mental illness? So all those things have to be answered out in the days to come.
New York City police say 27-year-old Shane Tamura may have had CTE, a traumatic brain injury that football players are susceptible to, caused by repeated hits to the head. New jobs available right now in Middle Tennessee as the downtown to B&A tunnel project gets underway. The Music City Loop. A check of the website shows jobs available this morning for construction, superintendents and foremen, welders, electricians, and engineers. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
I think this project will go to great lengths to take more cars off the road, move people faster, create more business activity in your state and in your city, but also reduce the congestion of your great state.
Yeah, construction will be funded entirely by Elon Musk's The Boring Company and its partners, no cost to taxpayers. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. All the social media platforms have a share button. Hit the share button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We appreciate it when you do so. So we heard the just horrifying reports of Alligator Alcatraz from the detainees themselves. I mean, heartbreaking stuff. CNN reported on it yesterday. A lot of people saying it feels like a prison. It's just, awful, awful. Until you realize that's exactly what it's designed for. So deal with it. I will say this. There's a few people that got out of Alligator Alcatraz, and that's good. That's good, especially after what we've been hearing. The mosquitoes, the air conditioning, the lack of air conditioning, the 3 meals. At least 100 detainees have been released, or should I say fully deported. That's what Ron DeSantis reported yesterday. At least 100 detainees processed at Alligator Alcatraz have been fully deported. DeSantis has continued to champion the quick work of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, which transformed the existing Miami-Dade Collier training facility in the Florida Everglades into a deportation hub to house and process migrants illegally residing in the country. The governor said that the deportations were already underway, noting that most of the individuals housed at the facility are military-aged males. These folks, a lot of them, have criminal records, but that's what's happening here, and I think it's been very effective now. DeSantis has since confirmed that 100 individuals who were processed and housed at the facility have been fully deported. I wonder if you get a T-shirt on the way out. I stayed at Alligator Alcatraz. All I got was this lousy T-shirt. I do know with 100 beds open, we can find some illegal aliens to send to Alligator Alcatraz and reach capacity once again. I got 4 individuals that are perfect candidates for Alligator Alcatraz that were just pinched in New Jersey. This story comes from the Post-Millennial. Bill Malusian has been reporting on this as well. Immigration's Customs Enforcement have arrested 4, count them, 4 illegal alien child sex predators in New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey to be specific, in coordination with other law enforcement bodies in the ongoing Operation Apex Predator. According to ICE, authorities with DHS arrested Gerson Jose Sáenz Umana, a 27-year-old El Salvadorian national, Javier Garcia Nicolasa, a 42-year-old Mexican national, and a few days before that, they took in Juan Villatoro Valle from El Salvador and Reyes Peralta Salazar from Mexico into custody as well. All 4 illegal in the United States have been convicted of child sex crimes. Reminder, this is who the Democrats are defending. These kind of monsters that need to go to Alligator Alcatraz and be removed from our country, the Democrats will say deserve better. Child sex predators, 4 of them nabbed in New Jersey. Send them right to jail. Send them to the wood chipper is really what we should be doing if we were a proper country. But we're not. We got to pass those laws. Wood chippers for pedophiles, please. Who says no? If that story makes your blood boil, this one's going to be, I don't know. It'll make your blood boil on one hand. And I guess on the other side, it's going to make you feel really encouraged by the work of ICE officials. This story comes from Houston, Texas. ICE has reported that officers and agents in the Houston area have arrested more than 200 illegal alien sex offenders in the past 6 months of the Trump administration. Let me say that again. In the Houston area alone, ICE has pinched more than 200 illegal alien child sex offenders. This is who the Democrats scream from the mountaintop to defend. This is who the Democrats yell, "My due process" about. Child sex offenders. More than 200 arrested in Houston. This story, it's both horrifying and encouraging. 6 months, 200 child sex offenders in Houston. Let's listen to the way local news reported that out of Houston.
Immigration crackdown continues with ICE agents in Houston, Texas, reporting more than 200 migrants apprehended by this field office alone are child sex offenders. 214 people detained by ICE in Houston over the last 6 months have either been charged with or convicted of child sex crimes. The press release from ICE says the arrest number over the past 6 months surpassed the amount of child sex offenders nabbed by the office in all of 2024.
Oh. So Donald Trump was able to do in 6 months what they were able to do in all of 2024. Got it.
The office crediting the federal government's increase of resources. The acting field office director says while we still have a long way to go to truly get this crisis under control, the strides we have made in just 6 months to make our local communities safer are substantial, and our officers continue to work tirelessly every day to get the worst of the worst criminal aliens out of Southeast Texas.
I mean, they're doing their best. Earlier this month, Breitbart, Texas first reported that ICE officers in the Houston area had arrested more than 1,300 criminal illegal aliens in June. Those arrests included 32 predators, child predators, 9 murderers, 1 illegal alien convicted of hijacking an airplane. We did that story, and 16 cartel or gang members. But these are who the left is defending. These monsters, these vile animals. And they'll say they don't deserve to go to Alligator Alcatraz. It's too cold. 3 meals isn't enough. And the mosquitoes. And I say Alligator Alcatraz is too good for these monsters. Far too good. I mean, let's just listen to some of these arrests, okay? Jose Guadalupe Meza, 40-year-old, 4-time deported criminal illegal alien from Mexico, was arrested June 24th, convicted of theft and sexual assault of a child. Sergio Rolando Galvin Guerrero, 45-year-old, 3-time deported illegal alien from Mexico, was arrested July 12th, convicted of DWI and aggravated sexual assault of a child. Manuel Antonio Castro Juarez, 37-year-old, twice deported criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, arrested July 18th, been convicted of sexual assault of a minor and twice for illegal re-entry. I could go on and on. But what the Democrats will say is that these individuals are Texas men. They're from Texas. These newcomers, they deserve to stay. They deserve full due process, and they deserve a pathway to citizenship. And I say no. I say absolutely not. I think Alligator Alcatraz is too good for these people. Honestly, way too good. By the grace of God, they got sent to Alligator Alcatraz, and not somewhere more fitting for their crimes. Tom Homan was talking about the arrests on national security threats, criminal illegal aliens this morning on Fox News.
I looked at the numbers yesterday, Lawrence. Here's where we're at. 70% of the people we're arresting are criminals. Hard stop, 70%. Who are the other 30%? The other 30% are national security threats. Like we've arrested over 300 Iranian nationals. These are people who are national security threats based on intelligence, based on other information. These are people we have to take off the street, that we have to deport. Who's the rest of that 30%? These are people who had due process at great taxpayer expense, and a judge ordered them removed. A federal judge said they must be deported. So our job is to deport those people. So we're executing the laws issued by Congress, enacted by Congress. We're arresting 70% criminals, and the rest are national security threats, and those were final orders. But the left will make you seem like we're all arresting, innocent people, disappearing people, kidnapping people. But the facts are the facts. ICE is prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats, and the numbers prove it.
But they're disappearing people, Mr. Homan. Oh, no. I mean, words matter. And one of the things that the left does very, very well is manipulate language. And when they say they're disappearing people, there's no due process. Somebody's got to do something. And you think about it, and you're like, oh, yeah, people do deserve due process. And then you go, oh, wait. You're talking about twice removed child sex offenders? That's different. They've had their due process. They already had it. We can't give them any more. Charles in Baxter wants to talk about Alligator Alcatraz. What's up, Chuck?
I kind of want to talk about it, but based off your earlier comment, 3 meals, mosquitoes, living conditions, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, honestly.
Who really cares?
I mean, listen, some of the prisoners described this place as something like a prison. It's awful. Charles, what are we going to do?
Well, I don't know, but so I used to live in DeKalb County, and I paid, pretty reasonable property taxes, and then I got this giant spike because the state says the jail in Smithville, Tennessee doesn't meet current standards. I'm like, well, what's the current standard? Only 2 guys per cell. They got to have their TVs, their iPads. I mean, listen, if you don't want to live uncomfortably, don't commit the crime.
Amen. I mean, it should be that simple, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, jail is not supposed to be comfortable.
No, if you want a comfy jail, you should commit a crime in Sweden. I appreciate the call, Charles. Let's go to Ken in Nashville. What's up, Ken?
Thanks for taking my call. First of all, I agree with you 100% about pedophilia. I think pedophiles, that should be a capital crime.
I'm with you, and I don't know why it isn't in this country. If I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Well, if for those that want those pedophiles to spend a life in jail, they castrate them, put them in jail for life, and treat them like prisoners. I mean, but you got to get rid of them. I mean, we can't have people molesting kids. I mean, that's just,
it's awful.
I got grandchildren, great grandkids, and I'll tell you, I think death is the penalty. I think that's what I think personally.
Yeah, so, I think it should be too.
Yeah, but I think one other thing while you got me on, I was listening to you earlier this morning about same-sex marriages.
Yeah.
I don't refer to them as gays. I refer to them as either homosexuals or perverts, but you can refer to them any way you want to.
I hear you, Ken. I appreciate the call, man. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. If you want to go back earlier in the show, there was a long conversation. There's a video that's gone viral of a gay couple who skirted adoption laws in Pennsylvania because one of them was a convicted child sex offender. So they skirted it by focusing on surrogacy. And apparently Pennsylvania doesn't have the same safeguards in place for surrogacy that they do for regular adoption. Something that you definitely need to check out. It was earlier in the show. I think it was around, 10 a.m. we did that. So about an hour back on the YouTube stream. We'll podcast it as well and all the things. Let's go to Michelle in Clarksville real quick. What's up, Michelle?
Hey, so I just wanted to put this stuff out, let's trying to stay on a budget. You know how we Americans, we love to budget. But, a plane ride for immigrants, that is so expensive.
So what do you think?
So,
what would you suggest outside of a plane?
What I would say is to put them on this ship called the Sea of the Icon, and this beast can hold 17,000 people at a time, and so all we'd have to do is just load them up and ship them out.
Deportation boats. I like it, Michelle. I do. I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. I do have another story here that is absolutely insane. And this is a place that I used to vacation at as a youngster. It's Old Orchard Beach in Maine. And this story is absolutely bananas. Absolute BANANAS. Bill Malugin has the story. And ICE has confirmed to Fox News the details of this story. They've arrested a Jamaican illegal alien who was hired by the Old Orchard Beach Police Department in Maine. Yes, there was an illegal alien hired as a police officer in Maine. Employed as a police officer in Maine. And it was only after he illegally attempted to buy a gun that there was an alert triggered to ATF. Maine is lost. Is Maine lost? I feel like Maine is lost. Bill Malugin has a story. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you'll see Bill's post. ICE confirms to Fox News they've arrested a Jamaican illegal alien who is employed as a police officer in Maine after he illegally attempted to buy a gun, which triggered an alert to ATF. There was no alert on the background check when they hired him in Maine? I guess not. ICE says John Luke Evans, who is in the U.S. illegally as a visa overstay, was hired as a cop by Old Orchard Beach Police Department in Maine and admitted to trying to purchase the gun as part of his job. ICE say he first entered the U.S. lawfully by flying into Miami on 9/24/2023, but never left on his scheduled departure flight 10/1/2023. Overstaying his visa ever since. Patricia Hyde, the field office director for ICE Boston, which arrested Evans, released a blistering statement to Fox, slamming Evans' hiring as a police officer. John Luke Evans not only broke U.S. immigration law, but he also illegally attempted to purchase a firearm. Shockingly, Evans was employed as a local law enforcement officer. The fact that a police department would hire an illegal alien and unlawfully issue him a firearm while on duty would be comical if it weren't so tragic. We have a police department that was knowingly breaking the very law they are charged with enforcing in order to employ an illegal alien. ICE Boston will continue to prioritize public safety threats by arresting and removing criminal alien threats from our New England communities. This guy was hired as a police officer, and he's an illegal alien. Everyone at that police department needs to be fired. There needs to be massive investigations. How do you let that happen? How do you let that slide? Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and it is vacation season, and you don't want to come home and find out that you had a plumbing disaster and the house looks like the wet bandits were there in Home Alone. You don't need that. Right now, Busy Bee is going to offer you some serious peace of mind with a smart Wi-Fi water shutoff valve installed by their expert techs for just $12.49 this July only. That is serious peace of mind at an absolutely unbeatable price, and you only got a couple more days to take advantage of this deal. So call Busy Bee today. Maybe you're just looking to upgrade the comfort at home. Maybe your HVAC is out. Busy Bee, they're the company to call. Get a new HVAC system and land yourself some free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment, because clean air matters, and they'll help you out with that HVAC system. Busy Bee makes it so easy. 0% financing for 18 months with approved credit and payments as low as $100 a month on HVAC replacements. Give them a call today. Stop wasting time. 615-775-7833 is the number for Busy Bee HVAC. 615-775-7833, or find them online, busybeehvac.com.
One of the world's leading consumer goods companies is blaming tariffs for the reason it says it's going to be raising prices on the stuff you need. We'll tell you about it at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Leftist media foaming at the mouth to get that executive on the phone. They can't wait. We knew it. We knew it, they say. You know, it's funny. You listen to some of the lefties, they'll be like, yeah, Trump crushed this. Bill Maher over the weekend on his show. It's like, I thought tariffs were going to throw us into a recession. I did. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's like, I thought tariffs were going to ruin us. I thought by July 4th we were going to be over. And then he goes, you know what, though? I was wrong. And Bill Maher doing what many leftists can't do, changing his mind via new information. And to that, I just say, awesome. I don't have anything negative to say to that.
Every tariff story comes with the caveat, could, maybe, might, and yet nothing has happened of any significance yet.
Isn't that weird?
And this has been going on.
Happens.
Yeah, this has been going on since January.
Yeah, it's crazy.
By now, I think we were supposed to be in a recession, weren't we?
Yeah, no, we definitely were supposed to be in a recession.
Yeah.
Liberation Day was going to ruin us. And then, Donald Trump was not going to get any of the deals that he wanted. Remember that? Remember that whole thing? This was Bill Maher over the weekend talking about how new information has changed his mind.
Now, I remember along with probably most people, were saying at the beginning,
by the 4th of July, somebody had a thing how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me. But that didn't happen.
Weird. The so-called experts, are they still the experts? Because the so-called experts said that everything was going to fall apart because of Donald Trump. We're going to be in a massive recession. Prices are going to go through the roof. Inflation's going to be crazy. Still waiting. All I see is record investment into the United States. I see the re-industrialization of the United States, and we'll see what happens with these tariffs. I do know that Trump, Xi Jinping, they're probably going to have some conversations here soon to get something on the books, but we'll see what happens. EU coming in, that's a big one. That's a huge, huge deal. So Trump is out there fighting for the American people. I'm here for it. It's a huge change from what we had previously, and it's benefiting all of us. They'll say, is it going to benefit Americans? I mean, listen, I played a clip from Charles Payne earlier. He does a Fox Business show, and he was like, guys, the billions, hundreds of billions of dollars invested in LNG from the EU. Just think about it this way. Biden tried to kill that industry. They'll say Chuck Schumer got to a podium. He said, oh, this is going to be a $90 billion tax on Americans. It's like, no, it's simply not. There's no way. There's no way. And you weren't concerned at all when Biden was killing the industry, costing Americans jobs. There was no concern there. So save me the faux outrage now. I'm not here for it. In the meantime, find us on Super Talk TV. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, join the conversation. The YouTube chat is always jumping, indubitably. You'll find a good conversation there. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And drivers, we've got a crash. This one's blocking the left two lanes of 40 westbound at Church Street. That's going to be exit 209A here downtown. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Procter & Gamble, one of the nation's best-known makers of supermarket products, says it's going to raise prices this summer, blaming the tariff war. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has more.
While 90% of its products are made in the U.S., Procter & Gamble imports many of its materials from China. The consumer goods giant now says it expects tariffs will add $1 billion to its costs. To compensate, P&G says it will raise prices starting next month on about a quarter of its products. It's unclear which lines will see increases, but Procter & Gamble makes a wide array of household brands, including Crest, Tide, Downy, Charmin, Old Spice, Bounty, Tampax, and Pampers.
Well, so far, the pass-through of tariff costs to consumers has been described as slow and uneven. According to researchers at Harvard Business School, it aligns with trends observed during the last U.S.-China trade war in 2018 and 2019. New jobs available right now in Middle Tennessee as the downtown to BNA Music City Loop Tunnel project gets underway. A check of the website shows jobs available this morning for construction superintendents and foremen, for welders, electricians, and engineers. Stuart McWhorter, Commissioner, Department of Economic and Community Development of Tennessee, on WTN's Dan Mandis Show, tells us what could come after the Music City Loop.
I believe they have the potential to do some, things that I think we all would want to see happen in our state. And I'm talking about the ability to get to Clarksville or Murfreesboro or Chattanooga or Knoxville.
So construction on the Music City Loop will be funded entirely by Elon Musk's Boring Company and its partners with no cost to taxpayers. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I know that you are dealing with pain. You carry the team, and it's all in your back. Don't let the back pain ruin your life. This could change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special from the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and it's only $12. It'll get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. Did I mention all of that for only $12? Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley aren't going to give up on you, just like President Trump never gave up on America. That's why we got the BDT, the Big Daddy Trump Special. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you're not going to find, surgery, injections, painkillers. It's not their style at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. So grab your MRI and get ready to understand your condition finally and fix it for good. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. I'm Chris Hand, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval on this deal that could change your life. Painisbad.com. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store, and we've been talking about it all week, unfortunately. We've seen recent events in New York City, Cincinnati, Michigan, and every single one of these events plays like an advertisement for getting yourself a firearm and your concealed carry, getting some training, and getting comfortable with that firearm. In a lot of these situations where violence occurs, you're going to be your first responder. That's just the reality of the situation. And you saw in Michigan, a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure you can handle that situation, you shouldn't be like that. You got to protect yourself. You got to find my friends at the Glock Store. The Glock Store has cut over 20,000 customer slides. They can customize your firearms. They can train you on your firearms. If you've never shot a Glock with an optic, they can help you with that, and they'll help you with any question you have. The staff is the best, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an expert. They can help you learn a thing or two at the Glock Store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. You got to go check these guys out. Get yourself warmed up with a firearm. Find one you like, train, and get ready, be ready. Glockstore.com. 11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Chris Hand here. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Rumble, you just got to search 997 WTN. A lot of people are like, hey, I can't find it. There's no period. It's not 99.7. It's just 997 WTN on Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things. We appreciate it. It's everybody's favorite segment of the day. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Yeah, it's the lightning round. We do it every day. We run through all the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to. Plus, we let you guys have a chance for a last-minute hot take on anything we have talked about during the show, or if there was something that you wish we had brought up and we didn't, now's your opportunity to. 615-737-9986. First story here in the lightning round. This one is just breaking. The EPA moving to reverse an Obama-era emissions rule, which let the agency essentially regulate parts of the U.S. economy out of existence. Fox News describing this as the largest single deregulation action in U.S. history.
The EPA is moving to repeal an Obama-era climate declaration, which the Trump administration says let the agency essentially regulate parts of the U.S. economy out of existence. Kelly Saberi is live at a semi-truck dealership in Indianapolis with more. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Dana. Well, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin is touting this proposal as the single largest deregulation action in U.S. history. And now he's talking about all the industries that are going to benefit from this. Take a listen.
They created this endangerment finding, and then they're able to put all these regulations on vehicles, on airplanes, on stationary sources to basically regulate out of existence, in many cases, a lot of forms of segments of our economy. And it costs Americans a lot of money.
EVs have been difficult to sell in the U.S., and this is what consumers are going to feel most from this. While hybrids are increasing in popularity here and have become a focus for several American car makers over EVs, gas still dominates new sales. And analysts say this is due to a lack of charging infrastructure and significantly higher price tags than gas counterparts. The average price of an EV was roughly $8,000 more than a gas-powered car, according to June data.
So that's got to go the way of the dodo bird. That Obama-era regulation is out. Single largest deregulation action in U.S. history. And they said that this Obama policy was regulating out parts of the U.S. economy out of existence. So Donald Trump says, no. Lee Zeldin says, hard pass. We're gonna roll that one back. For that, we thank him. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. July tariff revenue breaks monthly record with $150 billion collected so far in 2025. Fox Business has a story as President Trump enters the final days before his global trade deadline, August 1st, mind you. Tariff revenues have climbed to a record $150 billion so far this year. The U.S. collected nearly $28 billion in customs duty in July, the highest monthly total so far this year, according to the Treasury Department's customs and certain excise taxes data. The July figures, based on data through July 25th, have already surpassed June's monthly record of $27 billion. In January, tariff revenues were around $7.9 billion, doubling in April to $16.3 billion, and we're just seeing them just continue to grow, and we'll probably see them continue to grow come August 1st. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, Donald Trump wanted way higher tariffs in the EU deal. It's like, that's how you negotiate. That's how. 30% tariffs, and then you agree on 15, and then when you wanted 15% tariffs, and you're like, everybody's happy. Everybody, that's how negotiating works. Got it. Cool. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. This is actually a pretty cool story, and I know that everybody that's pro-life out there is probably aware of this. They've heard of this story. They're fans of this story. It happened at Houston's largest Planned Parenthood building, shut down. Yeah, the massive Planned Parenthood structure, which I don't know if you've ever seen the Planned Parenthood building in Houston. Have you ever seen it? Put the picture on the screen. It's like this weird stair-step design that oddly looks exactly like the Mayan sacrifice temple kind of thing. Is that just me? Am I the only one that thinks that? I can't be. Have you ever seen the Mayans where they would do their child sacrifices? I got a picture here for you. Let me put it on the stream. It was like this big building with like these huge steps. You see that? Like they would go and they would sacrifice the kids at the top. There's the Planned Parenthood building. I mean, tell me that doesn't look oddly similar. Yeah. Well, that building is going to be no more, and I think that they should Honestly, rip it to shreds. There's nothing good that can come of that building. They need to just burn it to the ground and then get an exorcist or something, do something. But they're shuttering that massive Houston abortion clinic after Congress has slashed funds. Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast will shutter 2 Houston area abortion clinics, including its massive 78,000 square foot Prevention Park facility, one of the largest abortion centers in the Western Hemisphere, in a move hailed by pro-life advocates as a tremendous victory. The closures scheduled for September 30th, following the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill that will, among other things, cut funding from going to Planned Parenthood through Medicaid. Sean Carney, CEO of the pro-life organization 40 Days for Life, told Fox News, "This is massive news for the pro-life movement and shows the direction that Planned Parenthood is going, which is down. Countless people have gone out, offered alternatives. We've had pro-life buses outside to do free ultrasounds." He noted that the facility used to perform late-term abortions before state laws restricted the practice. Melanie Linton, president of Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast, said, "Having to reduce PPGC's future footprint in the Houston area is heartbreaking. This is the result of decades of orchestrated efforts, abortion bans, Medicaid exclusions, and funding cuts by lawmakers determined to restrict reproductive health care." See, I could do that exact statement that she put, but I could put it in a positive light. Them reducing their footprint is the result of decades of hard work, orchestrated efforts, abortion bans, Medicaid exclusions, and funding cuts. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. She says it's heartbreaking. I find it heartbreaking that millions upon millions of babies were aborted. I find that far more heartbreaking than you losing an office where you're not allowed to do this evil anymore. So the fight's not over, though. And this leads us to the next story in the lightning round. We got one judge who is completely blocking a provision of the Big Beautiful Bill defunding abortion giant Planned Parenthood of taxpayer dollars through Medicaid. And I think it's really a wild story because we're used to federal judges getting in the way of President Trump and his agenda and his goals, and it's nothing new. I mean, sadly, it's become part and parcel of this Trump administration. But what we have here is a bill that was passed by Congress, who was voted in by the American people, signed by the president, voted in by the American people, and now that's also not allowed to happen. Is that what we're doing? Oh, Congress passed it. It's been signed into law. No, you can't do that, she says. I don't think she understands how the job works, personally. U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani. You want to guess which president appointed her? It was Obama. Granted a preliminary injunction blocking the provision and essentially mandating Medicaid funding for all Planned Parenthood clinics as litigation continues. Talwani released the expanded order after issuing an order last week on only partially blocking the provision for a subset of clinics that did not independently meet the provision's prohibited entity definition, Planned Parenthood Federation members, that do not provide abortions because of state law or those who receive less than $800,000 in Medicaid reimbursements in 2023. She says patients are likely to suffer adverse health consequences where care is disrupted or unavailable. That's what the judge wrote in her letter. We understand what Planned Parenthood is for, right? It has nothing to do with UTIs or herpes. It doesn't. It has everything to do with killing babies. But in her order, Talwani states, in particular, restricting members' ability to provide health care services threatens an increase in unintended pregnancies and attendant complications because of reduced access to effective contraceptives and an increased in undiagnosed and untreated STIs. Talwani added that the court is not enjoining the federal government from regulating abortion and is not directing the federal government to fund elective abortions or any other healthcare service not otherwise eligible for Medicare coverage, she wrote. Planned Parenthood alleged in its lawsuit that Congress targeted Planned Parenthood out of other abortion providers and how it wrote the provision which bars Medicaid funding for certain abortion organizations for 1 year. While the provision does not explicitly name Planned Parenthood, the organization is one of the only abortion providers that falls under the restrictions outlined in the bill, and they're crying about it. And activist judges are stepping in, trying to put their thumb on the scale. This fight isn't going away. As hard as we've fought to end abortion and abortion access, these abortionists are going to fight just as hard to keep it there. And this is the battle that we're in. It's just the battle that we're in. We got to keep pushing. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. One less fact checker over at the Washington Post. Yeah, Glenn Kessler is taking a buyout after 27 years with the outlet. He's going to be retiring on July 31st. Oh, it's so sad. Longtime Washington Post fact checker Glenn Kessler has taken a buyout after 27 years with the outlet and will be leaving on July 31st. Kessler fact-checked every day of the first Trump administration, bringing his daily fact checks to a close after after Trump's first 100 days in office. After more than 27 years at the Washington Post, including almost 15 as the fact checker, I will be leaving on July 31st, having taken a buyout. Much as I would have liked to keep scrutinizing politicians in Washington, especially in this era, the financial considerations were impossible to dismiss. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Does anybody believe these fact checkers at these leftist outlets anyway? No, I don't either. Got another story for here in the lightning round. A Seattle judge has ruled against Seattle employees fired for religious refusal of taking the COVID vaccinations. Yes, King County Superior Court Judge Tanya L. Thorpe has ruled in favor of the city of Seattle in a high-profile lawsuit brought by dozens of former city employees who were terminated after refusing to comply with the city's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Thorpe ruled that none of them had sincerely held religious beliefs when they objected to the vaccine mandate. She said their beliefs are secular, cloaked in religious vernacular, and that prayer is not a reasonable manner for decision-making. That's a bit strange. This judge is a clown show. What is this? She doesn't believe that these employees had sincerely held religious beliefs. Who the hell is she to make that determination? Prayer is not a reasonable manner for decision making. I'm sorry. I pray on just about everything. Not a reasonable manner for decision making. See, what these individuals do is they're not anti-religion. They're very pro-religion. It's just their religion is science and leftism. That's their religion. That's the altar that they bow to. This is insane. In her ruling, Thorpe agreed with arguments presented by the city's outside counsel, Seyfarth Shaw LLP, granting a motion for summary judgment on most of the plaintiff's claims. The employees from City Light, the Seattle Police Department, Seattle Public Utilities, Seattle Department of Transportation, and the city's Finance Admin Department had alleged violations of Washington's law against discrimination, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, failure to accommodate religious beliefs, and wrongful termination. In court documents obtained by the Ari Hoffman Show on 570 KVI, the city argued that the plaintiffs did not demonstrate a bona fide religious belief that conflicted with the vaccine mandate. Thorpe said that their objections were secular concerns cloaked in religious vernacular. The city further argued that prayer alone does not convert a personal decision into a protected religious belief, citing federal case law that distinguishes personal or medical objections from religious practices. Judge Thorpe largely agreed, dismissing the majority of the claims, including the wrongful termination and discrimination. In her decision, she emphasized that the law does not require employers to accommodate personal opinions or choices merely because they are framed in religious terms. I feel like this is not the last we're going to hear of this story at all. This is going to be appealed. There's going to be a larger lawsuit. And I feel like this judge in Seattle is going to take one in the shorts at the end of the day. Who on earth is she to say that these plaintiffs didn't have deeply held religious beliefs? I'm sure at least a good majority of them did. Now, during COVID, were there people that said, listen, I'm not going to take that because of my religious beliefs that didn't have religious beliefs? Yeah. Would it have been their right to refuse it in that case? Yeah. Weird. It's a weird story. It's a crazy story. A judge. No. You're actually not religious. I've determined it from my bench here. Oh, that's odd. I see a very, very large payout for these plaintiffs in the future. We'll see what happens. Keep you updated on the story. 11:52, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
A UN-backed food security classification initiative says 2 out of the 3 famine thresholds have been reached in Gaza. And here in Middle Tennessee, the Boring Company has the Help Wanted sign out to help build the Music City Loop. We'll tell you about a hiring event coming up at noon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. You know, Dan got a Boring Company hat this morning from the city planner guy that he had in here.
All right.
Yeah.
Did he wear it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He left it. He said to me, he's like, do you want it? And I was like, not really. It's a nice hat, though.
There you go. I'll take it. I'll wear
There
it.
you go.
I'll wear it. I'm now boring.
Chad Benson's in studio. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Better Water LLC. They sponsor the show. Backwards hats, huh? You do backwards hats a lot.
I do when I play pickleball.
I've seen you do it in here.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes, every once in a while.
When you're broadcasting?
Yeah. Every once in a while. Flip it around. Spice it up.
How do you feel about the backward hat in general?
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it?
Yeah, I'm not bothered.
Big fan?
No, it's just, you know what? Whatever I feel at that moment in time. I may wear it like this. And it also depends on the brim. You know? Like, I don't do... like, this brim's fine. I don't like the one that's really tucked down like that where your eyes...
Yeah.
I can't stand that.
Okay.
So...
You going to keep the hat?
Yeah, I'm totally keeping the hat. Sorry, Dan. Shouldn't have left it here.
Snooze, you lose.
Amen.
What stories are you paying attention to today, Chad?
We're going to talk a little bit about the controversy in China. Yeah, they got a controversy. Their version of the Pope and Billy Graham is in a lot of trouble. He was defrocked yesterday.
China Pope.
Yeah, he's the head. He's the head of the Shaolin.
Oh, I did hear about that. I saw the headline.
They call him the CEO Shaolin because he's kind of taken the mystery off the Shaolin, brought him out. You know, he's the reason they tour and they do all those. Yeah, well, he apparently likes partying and likes ladies and has some babies.
That's a no-no.
That is a no-no. You can't be Kwai Chang Kang from Kung Fu like that.
Can't.
So we're talking.
You don't want to run across that Church of Christ preacher I did back in the 80s.
They told poor Ken there. That guy told Ken he's going to hell.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The text line today, I have been overwhelmed with people asking if I would endorse you for governor, if you are running for governor, and I don't know how to respond. Are you looking for an endorsement?
Well, here's what I've told everybody, Brother Chris. For now, I'm focused on providing the most timely, accurate information to Middle Tennesseans from Bowling Green to Huntsville.
Oh,
that's where my focus is.
Gotcha. So you're Marsha Blackburning this thing? Is that what you're telling me?
Hold on, somebody's calling me.
Oh, man. I didn't know Ken was running for governor. But you know what? If he's running for governor, that sucks because he's going to have to go off the air.
Yeah. We'd miss him.
Yeah, no, you don't. And by the way, you don't want to do that. That's a pain in the ass.
And if he's anything like the current governor, he'll never be on the air.
No, ever.
Well, that'll only be if I'm really busy.
Got it. Good. Ken's not running for governor.
Should totally run for governor. Can I wear shorts?
Can I wear shorts? I don't think so. I need my governor in pants.
Why?
Because it's proper.
Proper for what? I'm sitting behind a desk writing stuff out.
Better not be wearing shorts.
All day shorts.
This is why you wouldn't get my vote.
And you got to wear a belt, too. Like, you can't just wear pants when you're a governor. You have to have
Can you wear
belt.
suspenders?
Yes.
But I'm talking about like 1980s Wall Street suspenders. None of that crap. You know, where the people who wear both belts and suspenders. How bad is it?
Oh.
That you got to double up?
Security is everybody's personal responsibility. Chad's in next. 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.